What's up, Bears fans? Your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360, back with another live show for you. Thanks for joining the program. Listen, we have a good one for you today. We're having a good day. Definitely having a better day than P. Diddy, or whatever his name is these days, Brother Love. But definitely going to tap in today and talk about Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles had a lot to say. We're going to cover it all. This is the Ryan Poles show today. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to get ready to cue the intro. Maestro, let's go. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back, Bears fans. Plenty going on in the Bears land right now. Right now, the GM and coaches are down in the owners meeting in Orlando. Lots of good reports coming out of there. Of course, we were able to capture, Fox 32 was able to capture the content, some interviews with Ryan Poles coming out of the area. Definitely going to talk about that because this is Ryan Poles' first time to really address the fans in the wake of the Justin Fields trade, and I thought it was important. Everything he had to say, every question that was asked, it was important to have that opportunity to address the fans related to the issue, and I think it's going to bring about some closure, at least for some of the fans. I realize, Justin Fields stands per se, and I use the term loosely. They're probably going to be still upset for a while about the trade, but at least we have some closure. At least we have some commentary. At least we have some answers, at least some of the answers that some of us were looking for coming out of that situation. Of course, this week in this week's news, Kevin Warren doubles down on the stadium bill being at the lakefront, excited about that while they keep using the Arlington Heights location as leverage, right? Are we truly serious about this stadium bill, the dome bill being at the lakefront? I believe so. But I don't think Kevin Warren will sneeze at a good deal in the event that Arlington comes through with some kind of super tax break that allows them to make some money. At the end of the day, we learned anything. If we learned anything from the Justin Fields situation, that business is business, right? Business is business. And I think these guys are keeping the bottom line first in a lot of these decisions as it pertains to how they move forward the Bears organization. Also in the news for the Bears, of course, the Bears are invited to host the Hall of Fame game. We participate in the Hall of Fame game with the Houston Texans. That's important to the Bears fans for a number of reasons. One, I think with the Hall of Fame selection, as far as us being selected for the Hall of Fame, that moves up camp by a week or two and allows us to get an early look at our presumptive QB1 and Caleb Williams. And it gives the fans an early look. Now, how much he'll play in that game, of course, you don't know, but by all intents and purposes, we expect to see or get an early look at Caleb Williams. Also being said, or coming out of the news, cycle it there. As Harrison Graham actually retweeted that. Somebody tweeting now, trying to capture that real fast. I bookmarked it, but big conversation about, and a quote, I want to get the quote right. Matt Eberflus says the Bears will work on install with Caleb Williams at his top 30 visit next week. And I retweeted tweeted that. Harrison Graham, who's going to be on the program on Thursday, by the way. Harrison Graham from Bears Now. I don't know if y'all get the chance to check out his content here and there. One of the bigger DIY media channels out there on YouTube. Friend of the show program. Harrison Graham's going to join us Thursday, but he quoted Matt Eberflus in saying that the Bears will work on install with Caleb Williams at his top 30 visit. Now you couple those two factors in, the Bears playing at the Hall of Fame game and the Bears actually working on install. I quote tweeted, "It's all about a done deal." Yeah, bro, it's done deal. I'm not installing. This is me thinking as an offensive coordinator. I'm not installing stuff with anybody that's not going to be on my team. You know what I'm saying? It's G14 classified. We're not talking about it. I'm not telling you our schemes, our language, our pass pro, our run setups, our run scheme, our pass scheme, all that stuff. So maybe perhaps the Bears are getting a head start on the install because, play design has been going on for weeks. Those guys been working, as we heard Shane Waldron described to Courtney Cronin a few weeks back, that they were working on solidifying the language, what they were going to call what, and all this other stuff. But the path to understanding the full complexity of this offense is a lot. And I don't blame the Bears brass, the Bears coaching staff for getting a head start if they know they got their guys. So I'm believing the writing's on the wall, although they are visiting Jaden Daniels, which is the next bit of news. Jaden Daniels pro day on tomorrow down in Baton Rouge and LSU. But I think it's an exercise in infamy for Bears fans. They're just going down there perhaps to check out Malik Neighbors as a potential pick at number 9. But there shouldn't be. And I know I tweet about, Jaden Daniels, but I've been fully supportive of us taking Caleb Williams. Although I tweet that I still think Jaden Daniels is the most NFL ready of these quarterbacks. I'm accepting of the fact that the Bears will take Caleb Williams, not that Jaden Daniels' ceiling is higher than Caleb Williams or lower. That's another nuanced conversation for another day. But as is, I maintain that NFL ready wise, he's the most guy. I'm not the only person that said that. Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Leaf, Quincy Avery, others have said it. So I think the path, the runway that you're going to hear Ryan Poles describe in these upcoming videos that we're going to go through of the interview and break down and talk about the runway that he describes is time right, and it's really measured right for what Caleb Williams, like they truly understand how much time Caleb needs to be the quarterback that they envision him being, right? And giving him a head start, but also understanding that this runway he's going to need to develop into a NFL style quarterback. And you guys know I've been, critical of the RPO stuff. That's no news here. But I'm excited to see what he does with this offense and how he develops professionally. Because also, as part of these conversations, you're going to hear Ryan Poles say things about breaking the cycle. Well, I know fans want us to be all in and, head over heels and, happy like schoolgirls because Caleb Williams is coming to the Chicago Bears. But the reality is the history is there. And the reality is that, the subset of fans that are skeptical for whatever reason of the cycle needing to be broken, they're within their right to measure this and measure their expectations, temper their expectations throughout this process. So that's what we're going to do on Chicago Bears 360. We're going to measure and we're going to temper expectations. But again, when I see it on film, as I see the development unfolding, you guys will be locked in and I'll be able to say exactly, hey, I'm seeing it. I'm with it. I'm excited. This is where it's going. I'm excited about this play, this throw, this change of protection, this adjustment. The kid's getting it. He's not getting it. But again, I'm going to start lessons learned, like we do this thing in project management and corporate, right? When you finish with a project, you do your lessons learned, you do your takeaways. And lessons learned from the Luke Getsy situation is I'm not assuming anything. I'm not making any assumptions related to Shane Waldron, first and foremost, and their ability to design, install, game plan, and call plays, right? lessons learned from the Luke Gessie fiasco is, you know what I'm saying, you improve on what you did last time, right? And not so much critical of Caleb at the onset. I just want to see from what I know, I want to see start there as the grounds for it. And when I see him do things outside of that, I want to be able to report back to you guys and say, hey guys, they're on the right path, they're getting it, they're setting them up for success. Here we go. So I'm just letting you guys know my approach with it. If you with it, rock with me. We're gonna be here together, we're gonna grow together, we're gonna get this thing together, and we're gonna flow like that, man. So like I said, let's get into it, man. Let's get it started. We're gonna cue up this first Ryan Poe's clip, and we're gonna talk about each clip that we clipped up, and break down the discussion and talking points and talk through it, and hopefully bring some disclosure to this conversation about Justin Fields, how it was handled, you know, what Ryan Poe said, and all this other stuff. So going forward, moving forward, we can just, you know, put it to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I think, you know, Justin is in a great situation. Did work out here, unfortunately, for probably 50% of the fan base who was supportive of him staying. But it is what it is. I'm not going to tell you guys you got to move forward. We must move forward. Take your time. Move at whatever pace your mental capacity, emotional capacity, whatever case may be. As long as we, at some point, if the evidence and the results are on the field, as long as you don't remain in that space, right? If we get there, we winning, man, and you still a hater, then I don't know. You probably gotta go lay on somebody's couch or something, because ain't nothing we can do for you. You know what I'm saying at that point. But either way, we're gonna cue up the first video. We're gonna talk about it, and when we
in the weeks leading up. In the weeks leading up to that, I know that there are people who look at the return and go, oh, it's not a ton, but
yeah,
I imagine that. Did you expect it to be more, kind of when the preseason or when the off season started?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but you know, as you do research and you have conversations, you have to kind of adjust to the market. But I think just with, you know, how other teams are built, because if you look at the beginning, you know, there's probably teams that are looking at the draft for guys to fill in. On the back end, the playoff teams probably have someone in place. So it really was a smaller pool, you know, of teams.
So that's Ryan Poe's. I'm sorry, Ryan Page. God forbid. That's Ryan Poe's describing what was the initial situation right there with the Justin Fields trade, right? And I thought he said something poignant, both poignant and practical, logical, because we said this on the show during the process of trying to figure out if we would keep Justin Fields. One of the things I pointed out was take about the 32 teams. The 32 teams don't want Justin Fields, right? And the reason why this show is important to me in doing it this way and talking about this, because there were extreme takes out there that were like kind of disparaging of the kid's talent, right? 32 teams don't want Justin Fields. This shows what the market was. If you were listening to what Ryan Post just said, he said what I said during the process. It wasn't 32 teams that was in the market for a quarterback. I don't know if you guys, you know what I'm saying, play with the stock market or something like that. But when you think about the NFL quarterback market, you got to think about the very basics of business, supply and demand, right? So if we're in a bear market or a bull market, depending on supply and demand, that's what the value is going to be based off of, right? So if we have, like I mentioned before, we had, now where are we up to? About 5 quarterbacks in the draft that were available in the draft that teams really have a first round grade on. They value their talents as rookies coming out of college, right? College prospects. Then there's 5 options right there for the teams that take away and lower the market for Justin Fields. As Ryan Post actually put it also, he said the playoff teams create another challenge to the market for Justin Fields. So as teams that have a quarterback, there's teams that's going to look to the draft to draft a quarterback, because guess what? You don't have to pay on the rookie deal and all that snaz and go so on and so forth. So the priority then is draftees, free agents, and then Justin Fields. The only question that I was looking for to be answered in this press conference was how do we manage the timing of it all, right? Because I think the only way that Ryan could have probably managed it better if he knew, and this is a big question, if he knew he was moving on from Justin Fields early, you could have probably created some demand early on or jumped on and put it out there earlier that, hey, this guy's on the trade block, made it more visible that he was on the trade block, made it more definitive that he was on the trade block, and let the hype of the end of the season perhaps, or the newness of the offseason play leverage to your advantage that way from a business perspective, right? And there was allegedly a higher offer from Pittsburgh on the offer early on that would have resulted in a higher pick from Pittsburgh. Which would be interesting to find out if he played his hand too late. He waited and leveraged the time to his disadvantage and ended up with a 6 or the 4th as a default, right? Because he could have landed with the 6, but the 4th could have been on the table early on. And we ended on, hey, we'll give you a 6 with a conditional 4th, right? It could have been a 4th early on or a 3rd or whatever the case may be. Now that part is alleged. The part that's facts is there were other offers on the table. We don't know what those offers were. There's a lot of rumors coming out of Las Vegas as to there were pretty decent offers on the table, but I'm not going to take the man's integrity away from him and report something that I don't know have all the facts on it. We know about there were offers on the table, at least 4, but the Pittsburgh offering being part of those early offers is alleged, and then the Los Angeles Raiders offer part of it is alleged. So I think that hit on the major parts of that element of it. We're gonna move on to the next one. By the way, hang on one second. By the way, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on the playback, definitely like, subscribe, share this on the channel. Ask your questions or put your questions in the comment or chat. We're going to circle back on the DM section and answer your questions. Of course, members and super chats go first, but we're going to circle back and answer your questions during the DM section. Make sure your questions are clear and concise and to the point. So, we know exactly what you're talking about. And I do that for a reason. I put the DM section and the question sections at the end of the show for a reason, because we're trying to beat the YouTube algorithm. I'm giving away a little free game right here, trying to beat the YouTube algorithm, and answering questions usually takes up to 30, 40 minutes to answer questions. Well, if I can cut the YouTube questions in the final video and actually beat the YouTube algorithm by cutting the show down to 45 minutes, then I'm winning. So there's a method to my madness. Trust me. I had to have that conversation with somebody else after the last show in the DMs. But I want to explain that to why we do it at the end, because I want to cut back the show or trim it out. So, we maximize the algorithm. So put your questions down there. Of course, members, super chats to the top, and then we ask everybody's questions after that. Let's slide to the next set of videos right there so we can talk about what Mr. Ryan Poles had to say.
Before the trade is finalized, was there like a decision day before that where you feel good about these rookie quarterbacks to move on from Justin?
Yeah, we had been putting that information together all along, just trying to measure how we wanted to go about doing it. I know there's a lot of talk about, having Justin there and drafting a quarterback as well. We had a lot of deep conversations, and I got some really good guys on my staff to really dig into how that would play out in terms of the locker room. How would that play out with a young guy that needs a lot of reps? How would that play out with just the command and leadership that you need in that position? And we felt like it was best to probably move on and allow a young quarterback to come in and work into that role.
What I like there is, any speculation about Ryan Poles potentially not having done his due diligence, right? Exploring every opportunity, including keeping Justin Fields and Caleb Williams in the same locker room, which, if I was in that coach's room, advisement board meeting room too, you know what I'm saying, I would have advised against as well. I know a lot of people threw that out there and said, well, it's nothing wrong with a little competition. They come in and compete. These kids are soft nowadays. Don't nobody like to compete and all this other stuff. That's the part of, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the politics of football, that even happens in high school football now. Like kids, parents, the kids, it's not so much the kids either. It's the kids' parents a lot of times that don't want to go in a situation where it's going to be a question mark. They're going to have to compete and all this other stuff. Again, I don't have any solid facts on this, but if I'm Mr. Williams and you propose that to me and I already have, you know what I'm saying? I always have consternation, trepidation about playing in Chicago anyway. If I'm the front office, I'm gonna clear the runway. If I'm committed to the kid, I'm gonna clear the runway of whatever it is I gotta do to make sure that you're gonna be all in and understanding we're totally invested in developing you, building a culture around you, including giving this locker room time to adjust to you and who the player is and all the locker room dynamics and politics that happen anyway. It's gonna happen. The dude's gonna come in. Caleb's gonna come in off the street. You already heard what Jalen Johnson said. Listen, we're gonna try and we're gonna test him. This is just locker room politics, field football politics. They're supposed to test them. They're supposed to test them in that room. Nothing is given, everything earned. He's gonna have to earn his leadership position on this team. So I like the fact that they had the discussion. He was transparent with it, and we know that box was checked, right? So also early on in that clip right there, he described the level of detail and the fact that, yeah, you know what I'm saying, they have been thinking about all the scenarios early on. The only thing, and I see people in my comments after the show, live show, Twitter X, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not gonna disparage the character of Ryan Poles to say, he sold Justin out, this, that, and the other. The only thing that I question is the playing the game, the chess match, and the timing of understanding and leverage. And again, the moment you knew that you were moving on from Justin, and maybe he didn't know, but maybe questioning the timing of making the decision, right? Because if you make the decision heading into the combine, which I think maybe was made or before, I would have been more, not so much vocal to us, the fans, but I would have been more blatant about, hey, we're not only gonna verbalize that Justin's on the trade table, but we're gonna commit to a decision by this date. Because the longer you wait, remember I told you guys in the previous show that the time is part of the leverage. The longer you wait and the closer you get to where you're forced to make a decision, you lose leverage in negotiations. So that's the only thing I would question. But the stuff about his character, him selling Justin out, who he is as a person, individual, I think you guys are going to hear in a future clip the empathy part of it, that he explains that he has to explain to his own son, who had a Justin Fields jersey up in his room, that, hey, whatever dynamics around the business of it is what it is. Let's cue that up and move on to the next part. Let's go.
Why the Steelers, and were there other teams potentially that you could have moved them to?
Yeah, there are other teams. The Steelers were just an opportunity where it was almost like more of a, they have a starter with Russ, but there was more of an open competition, it felt like, from my perspective, where there are other opportunities where there were some, quarterbacks that were either veteran guys or young guys that had already been paid. So it would have been a tougher situation for him to get on the field.
Like I said, the only fault I could find in that is if you had an early opportunity to trade Justin to the Steelers, if that's the team that you identified that would possibly be the best fit and an opportunity for Justin to get on the field to continue his career, I like him saying that part, because I felt like it was an emphasis for him, excuse me, and Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus to put him in a position where he could continue his career and not get stuck in a backup behind a already, cemented quarterback or whatever. The only criticism again is if you had an opportunity to get a fourth from the Steelers specifically, or any of those situations where teams brought in a quarterback later on that we assumed that Justin was better than, then you might have probably cost the Bears a few positions because of the time, right? Now Justin, of course, has the opportunity to play. If he plays 51% of the snaps, then of course we recruit that, and that 6 turns into a fourth. But if I'm nitpicking, the situation, then I'm saying, yeah, like, if that same opportunity is on the table with the Steelers earlier, and you drug it along, assuming or thinking that something better was going to come along, you know what I'm saying? I gotta, but these things aren't done in a vacuum, as well. Also, you know what I'm saying? I work in corporate. We make dumb decisions all the time. Like it just, we think we're going in the right direction, and something pops up, and we're like, dang, well, we totally missed that. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's why you come back, you do your after action reports, you do your takeaways, you do your lessons learned, you do your after action report, and you say, okay, next time I do this, I'm gonna be better at that, right? So we're gonna move on to the next clip. I hate this, bro. Why are we freezing up again?
His tone was good. I think what was important for Flus and I is to really express to him, although this is a really tough decision, like how much he means to the city of Chicago, our fan base, and us. I thought he was a class act in how he handled the ups and downs of the start of his career. But he sounded good. The tone was good.
When did the Steelers emerge as the best?
His tone was good. I think what was important for Flus and I is to really express to him, although this is a really tough decision, like how much he means to the city of Chicago, our fan base, and us. I thought he was a class act in how he handled the ups and downs of the start of his career. But he sounded good. The tone was good.
When did the Steelers emerge as the best?
All right, cool. That we got it covered, guys. Hopefully everybody understands what happened, the dynamics. Is there a perfect situation where Ryan Poles probably made all the right moves in the situation? I don't think so. Absolutely not. But you know what I'm saying? If I had to give him a grade in this whole situation, it's probably going to be predicated on the results of it in real time at the end of this, and how history is going to write this move, because it was the most divisive part of being a Chicago sports fan in the history of Chicago sports. It was the most divisive period. It's probably the most important decision that was made by a NFL or sports executive in the history of college sports. I don't know how history is going to write it. We're going to see it on the 30 for 30 show or video that they do related to whatever cool name they're going to give it on ESPN, right? And talk about it. But I think, you know what I'm saying, hindsight being 2020, I think in retrospect of all of the things that happened, I think Ryan Poles did the best he could. Did I agree with the decision again? No, probably not. But I think the other parts of this that we don't know about is the politics, the political pressures, what he was hearing from his bosses about his job security. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. We don't know about what we were hearing about, or we know about the situation with Coach Flus's job security. That's his boy. So did Ryan kind of acquiesce to the pressures connected to his job, and that had a play on it? You know what I'm saying? I don't think if anybody will be honest in this room, outside maybe a few people, that if your job is online, how you feed your family and all this other stuff, and you were hearing, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would go over and I would ask Kevin Warren, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, how much of my job is riding on this decision? And if it doesn't work out with Justin Fields, like, you know what I'm saying, me and Flus we leaving on the same bus or what? Like, I'm having fun with it, joke about it, but I don't know. I actually saying that's a part for me is hard. I can't really speak as to, somebody in that situation. What do you do? I think history will tell us what the right decision was. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair for people to be in wait and see mode, throughout this process. But again, thanks for tapping in. We got one more Ryan Poles related video. I had to squeeze this one in here because Ryan had a lot to say. He was making the press tour, this week. And of course, he makes the appearance on the Pat McAfee show. And he says this. Go ahead and cue it up.
Like when RG3 comes out, you heard it. Yeah. Okay. Don't you think like your particular Bears feels different than maybe the previous Bears? Like that's how we feel outside looking in. It's like, hey, this is a brand new building almost. Does it feel like that in there? And obviously you weren't there beforehand, but does it feel like you and Eberflus's culture is because at the end of the last season, it feels like, okay, the culture is kind of settling in, team settling in. You guys feel that obviously?
Yeah, it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest with you, because we were hired to break a cycle. The same thing when I was in Kansas City. Coach Reed, all of us were brought there to break a cycle, and we did. And no one talks about those days anymore. It's all about what they are right now. So I really believe we're about to break this cycle and get this city in a really good situation and win a lot of games. So the past is the past. Like I don't worry about that at all. It's about where we're going.
Okay. Well, a lot of people had a similar reaction to you.
Well, okay. So here's where we're gonna have major disagreement right here. Me and Mr. Ryan Poles right here. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about the history and the cycle being past tense. No, Mr. Ryan Poles, you're actually in the present. You're in the middle of it right now. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been accomplished. We went through this with Luke Getsy, right? When people were making him the next great head coach in the NFL, as if he accomplished something, he did something. And you know what I'm saying? Your optimism may be there as if Caleb Williams is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, you know what I'm saying? Jesus in cleats or whatever he's going to be. That's fine. That's great. But talking about it is in, you know what I'm saying? The past is the past, as if we've accomplished something. I think, and I know this is nitpicking, this is over analyzing the speech and you're right in the sense that you're supposed to be pissed off at RG3 suggesting that what you've done to remediate the reputation of the quarterback position in Chicago is an inaccurate narrative. You're right to be pissed off on that. But I think it's a little bit premature, a lot of bit premature to say the past is the past. We've broken the cycle or anything of that nature. You can say we're breaking the cycle, we're in the process, and hopefully we can change that narrative still. Nothing has been done. You still have a lot of work to do. It's like these ass clowns on here on X or Twitter who are circling the wagon for whatever reason, spinning the block for whatever reason to spike the ball as having been right about the Justin Fields tape. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate the pettiness. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit of petty in me, a little petty LaBelle, but let's call it what it is. And in real football coaching term is we ain't done shit. We ain't done shit. We got rid of a quarterback and we got a guy that is not even officially on the team yet. We haven't won a quarter, a down. We haven't won a quarter. We haven't won a game. We haven't won a division, right? We haven't won a conference. We haven't won it all. We haven't done anything. There's so much still to see and to speak in past tense and leverage. That you know what I'm saying? That was smart on his part to leverage the whole Kansas City thing as, you know what I'm saying? You're, you know, for credibility for what you do, but to be frank, you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody give a damn about that, Ryan Poles, what you did in Casey, because you in Casey, you was the man sitting next to the man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have to ride on your own merits in this space right now. So this part I'm gonna be very disagreeable on. And yeah, it might have been a little bit of clack back towards RG3 and getting on him to say, yeah, we're pissed off and the past is the past and all this other stuff. But guess what, buddy? This is the reality of it is. This guy has to come in adapt to the NFL, adapt to that locker room. He has to learn an NFL offense, a full-fledged, full-scale NFL offense. He has to win games and, you know what I'm saying, show up. And I'm not saying, because I know what the haters going to do. And it's okay. Listen, guys, haters are good for your algorithm. Haters are like, you know what I'm saying, they're like fertilizer. They're like manure. You know what I'm saying? You need haters in your life to let things grow in your life. So I'm not, and they're good for the algorithm. So I'm not opposed to that, but I know what they're going to do. I know they're going to misquote it as you're a Caleb hater and all this other stuff because you supported Justin Fields. Listen, if your mentality is that binary, listen, I don't have nothing for you. I don't even want those type of people around me. I don't want those people around this type of people around the show. If it has to be either or, you know what I'm saying? This is not gang activity, bruh. You know what I'm saying? We not a gang. This is the Chicago Bears. This is football. It's Bears fan. Promise you don't want that type of smoke. This is not gang. It's not that binary, right? But it's not that people that are skeptical, people that are saying wait and see, or they have the things that they pinpoint that they're looking at that have to still yet to be proven are bad people because they don't jump all on the board and agree with you. This is the part that I laugh at, but also was like, bro, on X or Twitter just drive me nuts. I'm like, bro, first of all, I'm not having an all day long debate with you on X. I got shit to do. I got a real job. You know what I'm saying? I got several other hobby jobs. And I got a whole family to manage. I'm not finna, people want you to have individual personalized debate on Twitter and go back for them. Like after about 2 rounds, you're gonna get the okay, gotcha, or you're gonna get the thumbs up, or you're gonna get the okay symbol. Cause I just don't, you know what I'm saying? If you want to debate, here's a whole platform right here. You can come up on the show, you can go in the comments, you can go crazy with the fans and debate with them in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you fertilizing the algorithm and doing what you do best. So yeah, that's where you're gonna get your debate talk from me. But I thought cool for him to go on the Pat McAfee show and speak on the topic, but I don't agree that the attitude, like we got something done, we accomplished something, the cycle is broken. I mean, that's a cool catchphrase, something be cool to put on the hat, hoodie, or t-shirt, like breaking the cycle. And maybe you have all 59 or 80 of the quarterbacks in Chicago Bears history laid out on that t-shirt, a hoodie, you know, spread out in some kind of cool t-shirt layout, breaking the cycle with Ryan Poles in the middle, breaking the cycle or something. But dog, you ain't won shit yet. Nothing. Anyway, that's my monologue. That's my soliloquy, if you will. Let's slide to the DM section, my man. Super J back there. Let's slide to the DM section, see what the folks was talking about.
Did you get like some crazy DMs or what?
Very.
Surprises or no?
I'm having a tough time today. Big Hurt said we'll see, but until I see consistency with the offense, Eberflus is going in this season with doubts about this team. Big Hurt, listen, man, I'm there with you, bro. I think that's fair, man. I think anybody that would try and convince you otherwise, bro, don't run your blood pressure up. You're allowed to be, listen, any Bears fan that's like in this position right here, like Big Hurt, they are authorized to be there. I think the fanatical side of it says, go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be media outlets that, you know what I'm saying, also play on the fanatical side of it as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, to each his own. Do you. But that's not what we're doing over here. We're gonna chill, we're gonna observe, we're gonna analyze, we're gonna take this thing step by step. We're gonna go with the team, and y'all know what it is. I'm gonna keep it being with you. Now, into my guy Julius. Let me bring you up real fast, man. I want to give you a quick salute, shout out. My guy Julius in the background making things run. Say something to the people, man. Can they hear you?
What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, my guy Julius back there making.
Yeah.
He's the magic making it happen. We expanding the team. I don't have J2K with us today, but our creative director J2K is also part of the program, making things happen, man. I appreciate these brothers. You know what I'm saying, putting in the time and work with us to expand the program. So want to publicly say, man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate
you, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. So for us, man, my man Julius, Coach T, y'all know the difference, man. Y'all know the deal, man. Past, present, future, whatever the case may be, man. You know what I'm saying? We here to stay. We bear down, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.